Friends, Ash here, welcome back to Gents. Hope you're well. A new can has landed. And you know what that means. A new Le Mans. Yes, it's the new Le Mans in blue. Which, in case you weren't following along, they actually had a competition on Jean-Paul Gaultier's website where they had 3 different potential releases. They didn't really say anything about them, but they had pictures, because nowadays, that's all you need. We got a 10-second attention span. Just show me pretty colors, and I will tell you the one I like. But they had 3 different ones that people could vote on, that they could choose from, and that would determine the new fragrance released from the brand, which ultimately was this one. Hopefully they do release the other ones, because if they had actual fragrances fully created in bottles and everything and then just went, it didn't win, just throw it in the gutter, that would be kind of crackheadish, but yeah. I'll have this one linked in the description. I bought my bottle off eBay, but it has popped up on Jean-Paul Gaultier's website already as well. What do you say we peep a gander at this presentation and then start talking about how it do smell? Can. On the front of the can, you have the name of the fragrance, the name of the brand as well. And then you have this Ed Hardy-esque looking design. So it's got like Chinese dragons and birds and flowers and stuff. On the bottom, you're gonna find your badge code and your barcode. My badge code 53231. And of course, you pop the bottom off and your bottle sits inside here. Wonderful. And here we have the little bottle. Mine's a 75 ml size. It's done up in this nice reflective metallic blue with see-through lines that do give off the impression of being black. You have your little atomizer stopper right here. Also have a little information on the bottom of the bottle. Let's go ahead and share a couple sprays. Ready? Here we go. Good. Now, when this one was first announced, it was basically pitched as, well, what the name says, a blue fragrance take on Le Mans, which made a lot of sense when I thought about it for a second, because Jean-Paul Gaultier has a lot of big releases that they've come out with over the last few years. Stuff like Le Mans Le Parfum, Le Mans Elixir, Le Mans Elixir Absolute, and also some of the Scandal fragrances, really, really solid. Then you have the Le Beau line, but with all of those releases, none of them actually compete directly with like the big dog fragrances, you know, Sauvage, Bleu de Chanel, YSL, stuff like that. So in my head, it made a lot of sense. Oh yeah, come out with a blue fragrance so you can get part of that market share, because you're already dominating, you know, the tropical freshy side with Le Beau. You're already dominating that really warm, sticky, sweet side of things with Elixir and Le Parfum. So go after the super versatile blue fragrance lane. That made sense. But is that actually what's going on here? Well, let's talk about it. The note breakdown here, dumbed down. Once again, 3 notes. Or if Quentin Tarantino has taught me anything in your German, 3 notes. It's got lavender, anise, and benzoin. That's it. Although they do spice it up a little bit by making it like metallic anise and blue lavender. So you're trying to make it sound cooler than it is, but that's your note breakdown. Anise, anise. I think both of those are technically correct. Like, you can say it either way, I think. This one opens up a little bit strange. Not bad, but a little different than I was expecting. The opening off the top comes in clean, a little bit soapy, fresh, sweet, and even has a mild cooling edge to it. So you have this little bit of a menthol pop in there, and you get more of that if you smell it up close. It's almost like it has a cooling effect when it works its way through your nose and into your lungs. And at the same time, it still does carry that traditional Le Mans DNA. So that lavender, that's gonna remind you a lot of the OG when you first spray this one on. Done in a very different way, but it has that common thread. So that familiar sweet fougere sort of DNA, that carries through into this one. And for a second there in the opening, again, it's a little bit different, but you feel like, this is gonna be a nice, cooler, cleaner take on the original styling. That's what this is, like a modernized version that's taking that path. But just less dense, less powdery, like I said, fresher, more modern. That lightly soapy vibe you get off the top, that burns away pretty quickly actually. So that's how the very initial hit is, but then that soapy vibe kind of burns away pretty quick. So you catch it for a moment there as everything is kind of settling on your skin, and then it's gone. As that soap kind of burns away, you get a fizzy, aromatic lift. You get this nice bit of brightness there in the initial pop, and big whiffs of it will still give you that mentholated cooling vibe. So really nicely done off the top, if a little bit different. But keep in mind, all this description that I've given you so far, this is really the first 5 minutes. So not crazy important in the grand scheme of things, because it changes up pretty quick as it starts to head into the mid. Yeah, it is. It does a 180. That anise comes in, and it comes in hard. It comes in, it overwhelms the lavender. It just takes over. It's like, this is my fragrance now.
Look at me, sure. I'm the captain now.
Get to the back. It's not trying to blend in nicely. It's not trying to be a cool little accent that, sits there alongside the lavender. Nah. It decides that it's the main event and that everybody would like to smell it, whether you want to or not. Now, in the opening and the first part of the mid, the projection's actually pretty good. So at this point, that anise is popping. It's like powdery, fresh, spicy licorice is how it comes across. It has a little bit of a green vibe kind of along the edge, and the metallic descriptor that they throw in there for that note, maybe not the best way to describe it. Like, I get it. I get where they're coming from with that. But to me, it's more like staticky, like staticky anise, like it's buzzing almost with this, again, powdery, licoricey, fresh, spicy pop. Now, it stays clean. It never goes like full bore medicinal or anything like that. But I can tell you in the mid, a lot of people that I had smell this one did not like it. I think the best way to describe the mid, as far as like the reactions that I got from asking people, my wife especially, is that it just kind of comes across odd, a little weird. Some people said that it smelled like something was off with the fragrance. So the 180 just kind of slaps you right in the face, man. It's like the opening, it's again like a little different, but you can still wrap your head around it super easy. You're like, okay, Lamal has that lavender, but instead we're taking it fresh, modern, cooling to an extent, breezy, clean, a little fresh, spicy underneath, aromatic lift, all of that going on in the opening. You're like, okay, I got it. And then it just stops. You've got a decent balance of fresh and sweet in the opening, and a lot of that sweetness just gets pushed to the side as it hits the mid, and that mid, again, it comes on pretty quick. Like, we're talking 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And when I say licorice, I know a lot of people are gonna think, things like Sauvage Elixir, like that has licorice. I'm not talking that type, okay? This one is more with that touch of green along the edges, kind of working underneath everything. It gets a little bit of a woodiness that starts to come in the longer that it's on your skin, but it is more of a faint woodiness. It's not like a heavy woody note. It's not like a deep woody note. Not even really like a fizzy ambroxany type of woody note. It's more just kind of a little flat, just clean and kind of soft. And I thought that it would kind of arrive with like this big ambery swell, from that benzoin in there, that it's gonna come in and you're gonna get this really warm, maybe vanilla leaning sort of amber woody dry down, something like that. But you don't really get that sexy, sweet turnaround. Like it never arrives, that never happens. And into the dry down, essentially the scent just kind of waves a white flag, like the anise steps back, so you're not getting as much of that coming across. Because I will say, at the end of the opening and the first part of the mid, it's almost like an overload of that note. It's just really, really dialed in there. It's a good dose of it. Once that settles down, I think it becomes more approachable for a lot of people, but also it loses a lot of potential originality, I guess you would say. It becomes this faintly warm, dusty woodiness when you hit that full dry down. You've got some remnants of the anise that carries over, some remnants of the lavender, little bits and pieces, bits and bobs from the opening and the mid that you can pick up very faintly, like a whisper kind of in the background underneath the woody notes. You do get a little Tonka sweetness, a little Tonka light that comes in there. In the far dry down. It's kind of tucked away in the back there, trying to fill in the gaps between the benzoin and the sort of woodiness that you get. And it's just unfortunate that there's no late game like, now I get it. You just gotta wait until the dry down and then it's amazing. It's more so, okay. Now, if the mid was too much for you, the dry down could be a really nice reprieve you know, but it's not that type of dry down where, at least for me, I think, I suffered through this, now I get to this and it's worth it. It's more so, I suffered through this and this is so-so. I will say though, it smells better off a tester strip. That opening lingers for longer. The anise comes across less strongly off a strip. So it's balanced much nicer for some reason off paper. That fresh and sweet combo works really well. So this is one where if you're thinking about testing it, if you see it in a store or something like that, you're not gonna be able to just judge it off this, okay? This is a fragrance where this will lie to you. You'll smell it and go, yeah, I get the little licorice in there, but it's not overdone. It's there with the lavender. The sweetness helps take the edge off. It's nicely balanced. That's how it smells here, absolutely. Second you spray it on skin, the opening, like I said, kind of cool, little twist. Once you hit that mid, that's gonna make it or break it for you. And I'm not saying it's gonna work for absolutely nobody. That's not what I'm saying, but I am saying that mid is gonna be divisive for a bunch of people. Who knows, maybe it's gonna grow on me over time, but we'll have to see. Now in terms of performance, this brand is known for fragrances that have a pretty good push. For example, some of the ones I mentioned earlier in this video. This fragrance has solid longevity. It'll stick around for a good amount of time. Projection, it is not great. As I alluded to earlier, the opening, the first part of the mid, solid projection, really nice. Once it starts to settle down, it gets much closer to a skin scent. This is one of those fragrances where initially you'll be like, okay, this has got pretty good push to it, and then you're gonna go, where is it? Because in testing this, I did go pretty heavy a few times just to see how that projection was gonna work out, and it's very iffy. Compared to most all the other fragrances from the brand, it is not amazing. And in terms of seasonality for me, this would be more spring, fall, day or night. Summertime, I'd probably go something a little fresher. Wintertime, I'd go something with a little more pop. So really quick, the pros, the cons, and the overall verdict. First, the pros. The opening is genuinely intriguing. Fresh, cool, lightly mentholated lavender, a good twist on the Lamal DNA. Also, it has a distinct identity. For what it's worth, if you do take this as a blue flanker, it doesn't smell like any of the other blue fragrances out there. I don't know that you would consider it a blue fragrance, but if you did. Even though they go heavy with the anise, it doesn't go full bore medicinal. So that's a pro. And the longevity is good, even if the projection is maybe not as good, but still that's a pro. The cons. That mid goes a little too hard for me into the anise / licorice and becomes polarizing pretty quick. Also a con, the lavender, which is what this fragrance line is really well known for, kind of loses its balance once you hit that mid. The dry down, it's soft, it's serviceable, maybe not memorable though. The projection, it drops off pretty hard once you work your way through the mid. And finally, big hype, smaller payoff. Kind of a disappointment. So the overall verdict for me, unfortunately, is not something I'm really pumped about. I was really excited about it. Like I said earlier, I felt like they were potentially going to put something out here that could compete head to head with Sauvage, with Bleu de Chanel, only done with a JPG twist. And instead they were like, nah, we gotta do something a little funky, a little different. And it just doesn't quite hit the mark for me. Now that doesn't mean that it won't for you. Absolutely, if you see this in a store, try it out. Like I said though, not on this, on this. And if you do really like that kind of vibe, anise or licorice done with a fresher twist, then this might actually be right up your alley. This might be your style. And in that case, it's a must try for you. But for people who are thinking about blind buying immediately just because of the name, I would probably wait and test it first. And also, I think this is supposed to be replacing Ultramall. If that's the case, I would much rather have that one than this one. Of all the new fragrances that I've tried out this year that I've had other people smell and give me their opinion on, this one has gotten the most reactions of people thinking that just kind of smells weird. Not in a way that it causes people to react and gag and all of this stuff. Not that type of weird, just the kind of weird where you smell it and you go, I don't really like that too much. It smells like something's a little off, a little weird. That was the reaction. So unfortunately, Le Mans Bleu, it's not for me, not right now. I'll wear it through the spring a little bit. We'll see how it goes. All right, guys, those are my first impressions. I want to thank you for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. See you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.